Welcome to Delta Green Future Perfect, Part 4, Episode 1. I'm Shane Ivey. I ran this game with a single microphone at a friend's house in 2016, before publication of Delta Green, the role-playing game. Please forgive the sound quality and distractions. The episode begins with a lengthy recap of the campaign. That lasts till about 6 minutes 30 seconds. The action opens with a long and somewhat hilarious combat scene, an important part of playtesting, that ends at about 30 minutes 30 seconds. Amber plays anthropologist Penelope Hawtrey. Jeremy plays FBI forensic examiner Darius Fulquist. John plays FBI agent Aaron Dressner. Tabitha plays UC Berkeley librarian Harley Woodhouse. Delta Green and Future Perfect are copyrights and trademarks of the Delta Green Partnership.
Last time, basically, you pressed to explore to search the place until you found something interesting, and then their security guards, all as if on cue, as if they had been plotting and planning this tactic for this eventuality for a long time, all jumped you and tried to capture you. And
so we started killing people.
Simultaneously,
by we, you
started
trying to kill people. I never drew my gun because I got jumped first.
Yeah.
But
I knew.
Yeah, now you're almost
that if you had been free, you would have pulled your gun too.
yeah, Miss Woodhouse is beaten unconscious.
Yeah, terrible.
And
bleeding from the nostrils and
yeah,
eyes.
we'll see whether she survives. She's not a doctor.
I'm not a doctor.
Just a librarian.
You! I thought you meant me. I was pummeled.
Dr. Hawtrey was also had to be pummeled unconscious as well. It was very tragic. And
Careful.
Zip tied.
Handcuffed.
Yeah. So Dressner was handcuffed and dumped on the ground.
Really?
And
Completely
I
unscathed.
had one.
he didn't get free enough to try to kill anybody.
Exactly.
So he's all right.
I got cracked across the arm with a steel baton in an attempt to disarm me, which succeeded, but I still managed in blowing the head of security's brains out.
Oh, yeah, you
Well,
did.
you shot him in the leg, but he still went down. And
Oh,
I don't
right.
know if he's going to survive.
Oh, I thought you did.
And
I thought you splattered
There was
him.
another guard that was wrestling with you that got shot.
Oh
by
yeah,
accident.
he got shot on
Wow.
accident by the other guy.
And then Fulquist ran out of the room into the secret parts of the base that they were trying to protect, and went around a couple of corners and found the big elevator bank with like 5 more security guys there. This group with submachine guns with silencers on the end of them.
Oh, man.
And that's kind of where we left it. So,
we didn't leave it with the I thought the grenade is the grenade in your. What's
No,
with the grenade?
so I had stated at the end that my intentions were to jump back around the corner, get a grenade
I
out,
thought
and
you
throw
were
it,
like.
start
So
throwing
he
it.
has a
We'll
briefcase
pick it up there.
that has
5
grenades in
grenades.
it. Right. So first thing is, because you've had kind of a beat of at least a few seconds, those of you who are conscious need to make a whole lot of sanity rolls.
Okay.
So John, for Agent Dressner, you're going to have to roll helplessness. You didn't inflict any violence on anybody or suffer any violence from anybody, but you're going to need to roll helplessness because you got held down and had to watch your friends get beaten unconscious and shot.
Exactly.
So,
how's that work?
just make a sanity roll.
Check.
Yep.
Against current sand?
5.
I got a 5. I'm good.
You succeeded? Okay, so you don't lose
a lot
any.
worse
You're
than
keeping
this
it under.
Do I
keep
check
it
my
under
third
control.
box?
No, that's only if you lose a point of sanity.
I'm not inured to
I just
helplessness
want to
yet.
say I hate
You're getting
everyone
close.
who made me drop my sanity points from 74 to 57.
I'm making you read
Yes.
Which was me.
Yeah.
It was.
You should do that more. Yeah, you should delve into this a little more.
Never again. I need to stop listening to you altogether. In all things.
I mean, generally, I could have told you.
Listen, it's more interesting this way, though.
It's not. It's not. I'm just going to go insane faster. That's not interesting.
So much
at all.
more interesting to stay alive and.
It is.
And,
Find another day.
So Fulquist, you need to roll because you got shot.
I didn't get shot. I got beat, but I shot a guy.
I thought you got shot.
I got shot at, but I ducked.
Okay.
The first time I ducked behind his friend and he shot his friend instead.
Yeah.
And then the second time I made it behind the doors.
Oh, okay.
And the doors took it for me.
I feel like using another person.
But you
as a human
you
shield.
definitely shot somebody and caused somebody else to get shot.
Oh, yes.
So
So I need to roll twice.
No, just roll once.
Yes, my
Pass.
child.
Okay. All right. You don't lose any either.
Okay.
You're under wraps.
Yeah, at least until I threw this grenade into that room.
So Fulquist kind of dodges around the corner as guns, under gunfire.
I shouldn't have to make a sanity check from getting the shit beat
Yes,
out
you
of me.
should.
Why? Just have the shit beat out of me.
Yeah.
You don't like
You
that,
suffered
though.
a bad violence. That's traumatic.
You had somebody beating on you with a stick
did.
until you
Stick.
lost consciousness.
Yeah, that's pretty traumatic. Ask most
But I've
of
come to. Aren't I? I've come to, though, right?
No.
I'm
It's
one.
up to you, man.
No, that means you're just not dead.
Yeah, when you drop to 2 or 1,
Uh-huh.
you are unconscious. If you're at 0, you're dead.
Or almost there.
Or almost there.
Yeah.
Dying.
Depending on the circumstances. Yeah, Dressner, you're in this room that's now got blood everywhere and gun smoke everywhere, and you're half deaf with your ears ringing because of all the gunshots and craziness and yelling.
Yeah.
And she's lying on the ground in a bloody heap. And
You don't know. Can you tell if she's dead or not?
no.
Okay, so but he's already seen.
Yeah, Fulquist ran out of sight, and one of the guards is down and shot, and Avery, the head of security, is down, shot, and Lieutenant Stein, who had dumped you on the ground, is still standing, and the guard that had beaten her down is still standing, and they're both breathing heavily and looking wide-eyed. Yeah. And Lieutenant Dewson is the lieutenant who was stuck up. The captain. Oh yeah. And
But the CEO is out. He tore.
yeah, I mean he looks bad.
no, the security guy, not the security guy, but the head of the company who was standing there.
Yeah, he
ran
ducked
away.
out of sight before all this went down. So they're kind of staring, and then Dewson says, "Oh fuck," and gets on his thing, and he says, "You got one of them, whatever. Squad 3, you got one of them heading right towards you. He's got those fucking grenades in his suitcase." And then he yells, "Squad, somebody else, get in here!" And he starts sort of yelling orders. And then he sort of pauses for a second, and then he says, "Sir, are you sure that this is? You saw what?" "Yes, sir." So you're coming around the corner, and you see guards. You weren't trying to be sneaky because you were running, right?
Yeah, I was trying to get.
Trying to run to the side.
Yeah, I wasn't exactly thinking that I was going to find a squad of guards in here. I thought I was going to find the gate that I could jump through.
Right.
So,
Whoops.
that's what I get for not thinking.
Yeah. So I'm gonna roll
We're thinking wrong.
alertness for them, which they passed it just barely. And so as you kind of hit the corner and you start backpedaling, one of them notices the movement and, yells out, 9 o'clock or whatever the position is compared to the elevators. And there's immediately the sort of these suppressed, gunshots hit on fully automatic, pepper the wall next to you and the wall opposite as you kind of duck back around. I'm not going to roll to hit for them.
What are these walls made of?
They look like drywall, but they're obviously really sturdy.
Reinforced.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So that's that first instant, right? So you're back around the corner, and they're you're right here, and they're around the corner in there, obviously, and you're in this corridor that goes that way, and then there's a turn and it keeps going, and then behind you it goes that way, and there's a turn and it keeps going.
Like a square loop around the center.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah. But
So-
there's, the only other ways Like, there weren't, like, any branching corridors off of... It's basically behind me is the guards that I left. And
Well, I mean, you kind of went in and turned left instead of right, and that
Well, assume there's
you.
other locked entrances off
But-
the other corner, off the other
Yeah.
side.
Yeah,
too.
there are places, and the corridors aren't empty. Like I said last
Full of
time,
stuff,
the
yeah.
corridors are like piled up with crazy stuff, like survival equipment and food and all kinds of gear for what looks like hundreds of people to last forever.
Sure.
Chocolate.
Okay, well, I'll duck behind the nearest crate and start getting my briefcase open to get the grenades out.
All right. So for the first turn, then roll make a dexterity test. Dexterity 5.
Ooh, fumble.
Fumble.
Okay. So
I spill out.
so you start to, and you realize that like the you've like accidentally monkeyed with the combination, and you don't remember the combination.
Fear has a way of fucking with your memory.
So meanwhile, the like there's you can, I don't know. Can you hear? What can you hear?
If they're shooting,
Alertness.
nothing. But if
No, I mean they're not. Yeah, I mean they're. Well, you could if they were still shooting, you could hear, but your ears are fucked because you've just been shooting a gun right next to them. You know, when you're close in a room. So make an alertness roll.
Success.
All right. So you kind of you hear footsteps running over to the wall, like the corner, around the corner there, and you kind of can tell that somebody's sort of poking around, and says, "Don't see him," and somebody else is looking around, and you hear like further in by the elevators, you hear somebody say something low, and then the guy that's on the other side of these crates kind of turns and says, "Fuck that! He shot Avery."
You shot Avery, man.
So what are you doing?
Somebody's ordering you to stay alive, and they're like, nope.
I think I'm gonna pop up and try and get this guy.
Okay.
Like pop up over the crate. Yeah, if he isn't looking at me, I'm gonna take a moment longer to.
Well, he's not that distracted.
Okay.
Like, as you pop up, he lost the advantage of like aiming or anything like that because he was distracted, yelling, cursing at his whatever supervisor. But you can take a shot at him, but he'll get to respond.
Right.
He's pissed.
He is pissed.
No grenades out? All 5 of them are in the locked bag?
Yeah.
We had to sneak them in. Not that they were sneaking in anyway.
It was a briefcase after all.
It's a briefcase.
Yeah. I mean, what was I gonna do? Fill my pockets full of grenades?
Yeah, that would have been silly.
You have a crowbar?
No, but I do have
one in
it.
here somewhere.
Yeah, I'm sure there's one in here somewhere.
That's the only other thing the only other idea I've had. One, it's loud.
Yeah.
By the time I get the grenade out, the guy who wants to shoot me is going to know exactly where I'm at. And 2, what if I miss the lock?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's that.
Yeah, so...
All right, so this is like split seconds, right? So
Yeah, so I'm going to pop up and shoot the guy.
and pop the shot at him.
Yeah.
All right.
Pop a cat in the
Pow, pow, pow! Drop your weapon! Nope, miss. Not a fumble, just a miss.
All right. How many attacks have you made with that? Can you remember?
So I hit Avery twice. I missed once. I think that was it, other than this, because I kept trying to do attacks, but the guard kept going in front of me, and I had to keep using my actions to like pistol whip instead.
So third attack then?
Fourth, I think.
Fourth, okay.
And I have 15 shots.
Yeah. Well, I mean, each attack is 2 or 3 shots usually. So, but you've got another couple before you're out. And so yeah, that guy kind of a couple of shots hitting around him, and he kind of reflexively ducks down and brings the brings his MP5 up and then kind of grimaces and backs off, like out of your line of fire. And behind him, there was another guy who was like watching the other direction down the corridor. He like ducks around behind another batch of big ass boxes, sort of in the same corridor as where you are.
Okay.
So he's got cover as well, but he's still in the same corridor. And then you hear somebody. You hear the who's apparently the supervisor in there yell out, "Cease fire! Cease fire!" And then he yells. You guys gave them names, right, when you came in?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
His name.
My name.
Like, did you give them IDs to look at or anything like that?
Just his. His was the only ID they asked for.
Yeah.
All right. So he yells out, "Agent, you stop shooting. We've been told no killing. Put a stop to this nonsense."
Make it interesting, Jeremy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
They're
gonna,
in the corner shooting.
They're
yeah,
definitely
I'm gonna
gonna
shoot
kill you.
one more time. I'm gonna shoot the
Are
lock.
you? You're not.
To lock off the
Are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, there's another.
Just one more and then I'm done.
Okay. Make a firearm roll.
Yeah. Good.
There's a
You could be
theory.
in,
Do I have
trans.
Do I have bonuses for being point blank range or anything like
No,
that?
because it's a teeny little rock.
Even if I put my teeny gun barrel right next to the teeny lock?
I'll give you plus 20 all told. Since
Yeah.
nobody's actively shooting at you right now.
Well,
You're only 2d20s. I got 1463.
crit,
Yeah.
Okay.
if that matters.
All right. So there's one of those sort of ricochet things, and you shoot the lock to pieces on the briefcase.
You're interfering with the federal investigation. Do you even know what that means? I say as I open up the lock and pull a grenade out of it.
Yeah. That's all agents are equipped with hand grenades. Standard issue.
The same voice says, "Right now it doesn't mean jack shit."
Alright.
Okay, well, I'll show you jack shit.
Meet my little friend.
Oh my gosh.
Say hello to my little friend.
Right now, so is it the guy in the hallway that's yelling at me, or the guy...
Around the corner.
Okay. From where I'm at, is there a way I can angle my shot into that room?
Bank it.
Bank it.
You throw it over there, bounce it off that wall, and it goes into the thing.
In theory,
Banking
yeah.
a grenade.
That sounds like it could end really bad.
It's just goes off the hall, otherwise you're still covered.
Considering you've never primed, let alone thrown a live grenade before,
You
but
just pull a pin and
you've
throw.
probably seen that happen on a video game.
Yeah.
You're gonna die.
Well, no.
So look, just put your gun down. We can all calm down. We can all talk about
But you
this.
can walk away.
We need this elevator secure so we can bring doctors up and deal with the wounded, including yours.
I'm still throwing the grenade.
Okay. So you sort of pop up to throw, and
shoot you in the head.
and one of the other guy was sort of covering, and his eyes go wide, and he yells "grenade" and takes a shot.
As you should.
So
As he would.
Since you're a
Anyway,
terrorist.
Yeah, Jesus.
so what's your dexterity?
12?
All right. Well, his is 11, so you can
Okay.
you can make your roll. So here's how it's going to work, because you don't have any kind of special training in using hand grenades. So attempt an athletics roll first.
Alright. 78. Nope.
Miss.
Okay.
Oh no.
And then
Get my check mark.
yeah, check mark. Now make a dex times 5 roll.
Alright. I passed that. 49 out of 60.
All right. Well, you don't fumble.
Okay.
So instead, you sort of throw the thing, and you mean to kind of bank it off of whatever, and instead it sort of hits about 3 feet to the left of that, and then clatters and rolls down the corridor, and everybody scrambles. And like the guy that was behind cover in your corridor, he immediately jumps out across, to go into the elevator where he's got protection. What's your plan for that?
How far away?
Oh, the dude was shooting you. That's right. I forgot about that.
Oh, he's going to do that instead of jumping out of the way?
Well,
Yeah, because it's coming to him.
yeah. He failed his intelligence roll, so he's going to try to shoot you.
Okay.
His plan was to shoot you before you could throw it, but it was too late. But his brain didn't tell his trigger finger that
Yep. See.
in time. Okay, so you've got good cover there. Yeah. All right. So he's rolling it. He's rolling at a.
It's pretty down.
That's going to be a net minus 20 because he was watching for you, and you're pretty damn close.
Okay.
And with the minus 20, that'll miss. So and the bullets kind of pepper the cover, and one wings by your face, but doesn't hit you.
Yeah. I'm ducking back down.
And you duck down, and then I'm going to give him a dodge roll to jump behind the cover before the thing explodes. And that's going to fail. So, but you missed your attack roll, so it doesn't matter. It explodes, and there's that sort of shock wave, and that kind of staggers you and makes your ears freak out, and there's smoke everywhere, and shit sort of scatters all over the place.
What about the walls? Did the walls crumble at all, or?
Well, yeah, over there where the grenade went off, yeah. And so, from where you are, you're in this corridor, right? And they're around the corners, and then you're kind of hunkered down.
Wolf.
And that other way, beyond even where you were, there's another corridor turns around, and you see another security guy kind of put his head around the corner to see what's down there.
What caused that explosion that just happened?
So you hear people yelling. You're cheering.
Well, I've got 5 more.
Okay.
I'm going to try again. I need to get down that elevator.
So Dressner,
That's one word for it.
you're in there, handcuffed up,
I'm not doing anything.
and you hear people, and you see Lieutenant Dewson kind of listens on his earpiece and shakes his head, and then you hear him give relay orders to everybody to try to take him alive. Mm-hmm. And apparently there's argument with that because he shoots back with this is straight from Lassiter. Mm-hmm. You heard me, goddammit. Mm-hmm. And
I'm not.
And
not
so
that I could do anything, but I'm not doing it.
Then there's an explosion down there.
You hear that?
And,
it's not that far away.
No, it's not that far away. The other guy who's standing guard is sort of standing. No, he's not standing guard anymore. The other guy that was still up is trying to do first aid on Avery, is what he's doing. He's working on Avery, right? Starts, and he looks down at you, and he says, "Do you have any prayer of restraining that idiot before he gets himself killed?
I can try.
We've got about 24 security officers converging on him right now, and as soon as I take them off the leash, he's a dead man."
Yeah, well, I'll talk to him. Give me the earpiece. Oh wait,
you have your own earpiece.
Oh yeah, we have our own for communicating with each other. Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I'll talk to him. Okay. I can't do anything unless it's voice activated. I can't because my hands are handcuffed.
Yeah. All right. So he kind of gives you the stink eye and says, "If I bring those cuffs around to the front, are you going to make me shoot you?"
You've got the gun. No, I'm just trying to do my job.
All right. So he takes a cuff key out of his pocket. He sort of holds his pistol back and holds the cuff key out, like that. No, because you got to turn around. So he tells you to turn your ass around. I forgot.
I'm not going
to. He brings your hands around and cuffs them in front, and so you can reach up and at least mess with your ear. Yeah.
All right, that's fine. Yeah, there's 2 of them with guns. I don't think I can do anything.
I thought I could find a picture of him, but
I'm sure I can get off at least one more grenade while he's doing all of that.
insane.
Sure. Yeah. You hear more yelling, arguing, and you've got another grenade out.
Yeah. This time, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get out. I'm gonna use the smoke. Get out from where I'm at. Go to the corner.
And roll it.
And then just roll it into the room.
Okay.
And use the wall as cover. Because if it stops the If it's stopping those submachine gun bullets, I'm pretty sure I'll be safe around the corner from it.
Okay. All right. So so you get up there. That's about when, John, you can yell at him for a second or two before he throws.
I'll just say, they've got you surrounded. There's at least a dozen of them. I don't think I have any chance in or out of there. So.
All right. So you're at the corner. You hear people yelling. You like through the ringing in your ears. You think you hear footsteps of men scattering in that elevator bank.
Yeah.
What do you do? All right. What do you get? Plus 20 on your.
With plus 20, I get
athletics, it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now make an intelligence roll.
All right.
Because
before, should this happen before?
Yeah.
He has failed every intelligence
51.
roll.
Pass.
Okay, so you remember to pull the pin before you roll it in.
All right. There we go.
And there's, another shout of grenade, and then it explodes. You don't hear any satisfying screaming or anything like that. And then what do? John, you get another chance to say something.
Well,
Oh dear God! Please stop
There's
throwing
another
grenades.
explosion.
yeah. I don't think there's any chance. I mean, it's up to you, but I think this mission is shot.
I'm gonna do what I can. Okay, so I didn't hear any screams. But I don't hear people yelling.
Or shots.
Or shooting. So yeah. I mean, if I put my head around the corner, do I see anything?
You see a couple of, there's the elevator bank, and then there's the other side of the elevator bank is, it's an opening with another corridor, and that seems to be where they all
Was the elevator bank like a square in the center of an open room?
Kind of like that.
So it's like an open square room with this thing in the center?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So on the other side of the elevator bank is another opening with another corridor, and so there's a couple of guys that are sort of peeking around like that, and, that's what you see.
Yeah, sure. I'll chunk another one into that opening and try and make it to the elevator bank.
All right.
Or anything else you've done up to this point, really?
Probably, but it's
In for a penny.
Yeah, in for a pound.
All right. Well, you're going to get 2 attacks on you as you do that.
Perpetuate this madness.
Actually, 3, because one of them's coming from way down the corridor down there. They're all penalties, though. So from way down the corridor down there, that's gonna miss, and then the 2 dudes as you peek around to grenade them again. That's gonna miss, and that's gonna miss too.
All right.
You're very, very lucky.
I'm softballing it.
I don't know if I'd call this very lucky.
Yeah.
In the short term, perhaps. But
lucky I bought these grenades.
All right.
He's gonna go right on ahead and disagree with you.
Make another roll. This is unmodified because you're trying to
hit an opening.
Yeah.
Sure. So that's gonna be 29.
Yeah.
Made it by 2 points.
Okay.
Why?
So you roll it down there, and there's another shout, and people scramble, and then it explodes. So out of those 5, out of the 5 guys that were down there,
2 were out in the hall. Well, one ended up in the hall.
The two that were like standing that were shooting at you, standing guard there. They were the only ones that were immediately exposed. So they're going to have to make dodge rolls to jump to get around the corner. I guess they'll probably have to jump into the elevator bank to get cover from the blast. And one of them succeeds, and actually both succeed. They're nimble. And then it explodes, and there's more debris and smoke and ears ringing.
Perfect cover.
I'm running for the elevators.
And so where you were was looking into the elevator bank. They were looking into it from the other side, and they had to jump into the elevator bank. So they're perfect targets for you now, but they're in there next to the elevators because they had to get around that corner to get
away from your
explosion.
crazy ass.
Yeah,
grenade.
Sure.
So top of the next turn. Let's All right. What's your dexterity? 12.
12.
Okay. So you and one of those guys are going to go simultaneously, and the other one will go after you.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. I want to shoot at him.
All right.
I don't want to throw a grenade at the elevators. Kind of defeats the point.
Yeah, no, that would be crazy and irresponsible with grenades.
Yeah.
Which
And we know that you've developed
I'm neither of those things.
a reputation of responsible grenade ownership.
Success. Not a crit. Almost a crit, but not.
And Amy's going to hit you with or without cover that time.
Okay.
So you're both gonna suffer. All right. So yeah, roll your damage first.
That's a 1, so he soaks up all of that with his body armor.
Yeah, just sort of. So his submachine gun burst is a 10% lethality rating. So roll percentile dice. If it's 10 or under, you're dead.
37.
Okay. So instead, you take 10 points of damage. So you can
Which
take your
drops-
body armor off of that.
Okay, so yeah, that is 7, so that drops me to 2, so I fall unconscious.
Yeah. All right. So John.
Yeah.
There's another blast, and then there's a couple of gunshots. Deucin kind of looks at you and shakes his head and says he's down.
All right, well, I tried.
Stupid fucking waste. And he, so the other guy was trying to do a first aid on Avery, and he succeeded. So Avery is still alive for now. We'll see what happens in surgery.
Didn't go well for me.
After a couple of minutes, it's like a full-on paramedic, team comes in from where you saw Fulquist run, and a couple of them are obviously like one of them is obviously a trauma doctor, and there's two others that are medics, and so they kind of shove everybody out of the way and get to work on Avery and Woodhouse, and load them up onto stretchers, and load over the next few minutes. They cart them off. They keep you parked in place while they deal with what has to be dealt with first, and so you see Hawtrey stretchered in as well, also looking really, really bad off. And then a few minutes after that, probably about 15 minutes after that, the Captain Stein, who was like the supervisor of the security, he comes in and takes over and gives you a kind of baleful stare and says, "We're gonna need your hands behind you again for this." So they take you, they escort you to the elevators,
Where there's
through
all
the
this evidence of
you see all the
explosions and stuff.
carnage and blasts
But nobody was
and
killed,
blood
right?
and well, there's a big blood stain where Fulquist went down, and so they take you to the
Hand grenades look
the
easier
elevators.
to use in the movies.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah. So Stein keys in a security code at one of the elevators, and then it opens up, and you get in, and it's spacious. It's not like gorgeous. They didn't spend money making it fancy because they weren't trying to impress investors with this part of the place, and or anything like that. So, but it's it's utilitarian. That it could double as a cargo elevator, and the doors close, and there's a list. There's like 9 levels listed, and he presses the 8th one, number 8, and then keys in another security code next to it when a little prompt comes up, and then the elevator starts going down.
They've gotten anywhere anyway.
And down and down and down and down, and after you see the floors tick off one by one, and the doors open into, I mean, it looks like some kind of crazy laboratory. There's as they sort of bring you in and navigate you through it. There are 4 biohazard level 4 labs, like the one that you saw
reminiscent of
earlier.
the Delta Green one, yeah.
Yeah. There's, suites adjoining those that serve as morgues, big storage and closet rooms. People already decked out in biohazard suits and
Any weird stuff on the tables or anything?
well, we're getting there.
Okay.
So on the tables, there's not, because it looks like there's staff here who seem to be really, really busily kind of crating everything up, and samples included. So there are big kind of, obvious like biohazard symbol containers there. The ones that they haven't gotten to yet, they haven't done everything yet, So you kind of see, and they basically are like, they take you through and into like a storage closet. I mean, it looks like the same kind of this like super high security plexiglass storage room where they put some kind of weird biological sample,
Okay.
But as they're taking you into that, you pass these, the boxed, like these huge insect samples, these big things nearly 2 feet long, that look kind of reminiscent of that enormous insect body you found in Death Valley.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the tables that they haven't gotten to yet, there is, as you get a good look at it, it's a dissected dinosaur. It's like a meter long and splayed out with organs exposed. And it's not a fossil, it doesn't look like it's been sitting in ice for 1 million years or anything like that,
Fresh.
And, there's another place that has this big body bag that's loaded with some kind of long, sinuous shape that you don't recognize. The body bag's closed, so you can't tell what it is, but
clearly see inside
it's not a body.
It's not a human body.
Right, the shape of it isn't. And, there's like an enormous, a big specimen case that holds that you can see through the top of it is this sort of 5 feet long, bulbous, plant-like, bulging tube of wrinkled, corrugated, fibrous material that kind of...
All those words go together.
Yeah. Topped with these kind of 5 tubes or shoots and sprinkles of pockmarks and...
A big worm thing? Like a big worm thing, but plant-like?
Sorta, kinda. And then... and so they put you in your own storage room and a little storage closet, basically, and close the door and key in a security code and seal you in, and you have enough time for the adrenaline to sort of calm down, enough, and you just see the researchers are kind of really busily just sort of cataloging and packing things up, and you can sort of hear muffled voices. It's not soundproofed completely, and you get the sense that they're kind of like cataloging and prioritizing. What's going to need to move first.
These don't seem like the people who are going to be concerned about the FBI.
Yeah. So So meanwhile, who wants to roll for the first aid roll to keep poor Woodhouse with us?
I'll do it.
It's going to be at plus 20 because the guy wasn't really trying to kill her when he was beating her, but
Is it first aid or surgery?
It's first aid.
Oh wait, I don't have 10.
No, you're just rolling on behalf of one of the NPCs.
Oh, okay.
Like they've got medics who are dealing with it. So you've got with the plus 20. They don't have their best surgeon on her because he's working on Ivey.
Me.
So I'll get an 80% chance.
Yeah, 49.
Okay.
All right.
So Woodhouse, get a D4 hit points. Now that you've been they bring you around, and
I feel very woozy, but
oh yeah, you're loaded up with painkillers, and you're like really securely chained down to the table. So now you need to make a con times 5 roll.
For lasting effect.
Mm-hmm.
You have your own dice right there.
I do. Here's your out.
91.
Oh.
All right.
Dear.
So the lower of those is a 1. So I don't know. What do y'all think? He had to beat her into submission. Which stat do you think is going to take the hit?
Either intelligence or charisma.
Yeah.
What do you think, Amber?
Yeah, I'd go with that. With charisma.
All right.
Yeah.
So drop your charisma by 1 point.
It was already my lowest score.
Just don't try
Got
to.
no dump stats in Delta Green.
You used to have a witch nose, but now it's a broken witch nose.
Exactly.
And drop each of your bonds by 1 point to go along with that.
Oh.
And make a little note on the back of the sheet where it says notes for home scenes and whatever, that your bonds all dropped because your charisma got dropped because you got facial scarring from being beaten half to death.
Bad facial scars.
Mm-hmm.
Hideous disfigurement, probably.
And we can resolve the details and the shape of that later. All right. Who wants to roll for
It only seems fair that Tabitha would make the roll
for Amber?
Yeah.
Do good.
Don't I always?
Nope.
Yeah.
83.
83.
Oh!
All right.
Just failed altogether.
Yeah.
You are the worst.
So, did we already... Amber, did you...
Wait. It's my bad.
So, did we already make you make a con roll to see if you got permanent injuries from your
No.
brush
Him
with the
or-
nightstick?
No, you.
No,
Me?
you.
I'm not injured.
No.
No.
Dressner kept his head.
So at
But they're
con,
like-
No choice in
con's
my
5?
Yes. No.
98.
Oh, God.
Ah.
So,
You're going
Lowest
to
is
lose
an
8 stat points.
something. Let's see.
That is terrible. Now I was charming. My charisma.
What if you were beaten with a metal rod?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Could
it would
be
be
anything,
like
really.
my
I would-
constitution.
there's-
maybe.
Yeah. I would say dex,
Or dex,
intelligence,
yeah.
or charisma.
Well, there's another option that where is it?
Does it all have to be off of one, or can she split it up?
Wait, hold on. Let me see. Let me look up the final version of this rule. That was a very terrible roll.
It was a bad roll.
It was the next to worst, the third next to worst you could roll.
Yeah.
Could have been a 99 or a 100.
Yeah.
Yes. All bad.
So here's what our options are going to
I
be.
just.
It's either going to be your eye or an ear or a leg
Well, I mean, he hit me in the leg.
Yeah, you got hit in the leg pretty bad.
You
Yeah,
lost your
leg makes
entire
sense.
knee.
Yeah. So,
We should be leg buddies.
yeah.
Are you talking about losing my leg?
No.
I got messed up.
But it's going to be crippled.
You might lose the knee.
So
We'll just call you House.
put a note somewhere that you're going to have a bad leg, and
Physical.
you're going to be at a minus 20% penalty to any kind of a test that needs your legs.
At least you don't.
2 leg rolls.
At least you don't shoot guns with your leg. So
Okay, and who wants to roll for Fulquist, the hero of the
I'll
hour?
roll the hero. I don't know how to use that term loose.
That was probably the loosest use of
41.
that term.
There we go.
All right, so get a D4.
Uno.
You're still unconscious.
Puts me at 3.
Oh, you were conscious. You were barely unconscious.
You're coming around to some
And
glaring
now you
faces.
make your con roll.
Yeah, they didn't really want to heal me. It was half-hearted
It
healing.
was half-hearted.
They basically just left you on the stretcher and
Yeah.
came around on your own.
1.
Oh my god!
Oh, 1.
All right.
Yep.
So,
Is that a crit?
That's a crit.
you don't lose points off any stats.
No, well, I mean, I know. I'm just curious for the rolling.
I mean, it would be, but this rule doesn't really have
No,
critical
yeah,
or
it's
right.
fumbles.
Yeah, no, I was just asking for.
It's
It
just
would be a critical
General.
normally. Yeah, it would. Yeah. 0, 1, or
They were
successful
kind of
match.
hoping you were gonna die.
Yeah.
You're just like, I'm fine, everybody.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Um,
Sit up on the table. Yeah, I'm good. Where's my bag?
Whoa, my leg's all
What do you got
better.
there? Yeah.
My war injury, or my analysis injury is healed. Thanks, man. I guess all I needed was to be shot.
Yeah, exactly.
It must have all been in my head.
oh, somebody roll for Avery. John, you roll to see if they succeeded on Avery. He gets a 90%, or no,
That's a 3.
70% chance. 3, okay. So that was with the surgery. So
Yeah.
Avery's going to survive, but it's hit and
Touch and
miss.
go there.
Yeah,
a
yeah.
little bit.
Can I roll for how much he loses?
Oh, get
Sure. Make his con roll.
such an asshole.
96.
Oh my
96,
god!
okay.
Yeah.
So Avery's going to suffer.
You are unjust in your rolling abilities.
6.
Oh no, he deserved that.
I know. He is
Doing
trying to
his
keep
job.
people alive.
Right?
So after a while,
He's working for aliens who are out to destroy the universe.
Yeah.
Dressner, Lassiter, and probably Dewson. I think the other, the head of the new interim head of security is busy heading security. But Avery, Dewson, and another guard come down to find you, and
And they're like, what the hell, man?
I'm just sitting quietly, mentally going over how my life went so badly wrong.
and they key the thing and open the door to your little closet. And Lassiter kind of looks at you appraisingly for a while and says, "What do you know about what we do here?"
He says, I don't know much about what you do, but I've seen things like this before. I was in New Mexico.
Come with me.
I'll struggle to get up because my hands are still hanging behind my back.
Yeah. Well, they're not going to leave.
So I'm assuming they've taken my gun? That's
Oh, yeah. They took everything
Somebody
off
cut
of
you
you
in the
except for
front.
clothes.
Doesn't really matter. That's fine.
So they bring you kind of,
I actually don't.
into another part of the lab. What's that?
Amber was saying it's more comfortable having hands handcuffed in front of you. I said, yes.
He knows from experience.
From
I know from TV shows.
They bring you to another part of the lab. They kind of skirt around busy researchers who, sort of look up and,
keep going.
nod greetings to Lassiter and keep going at their work. And they bring you through a couple of new, sort of secure areas and to this sort of isolated more isolated area that goes through a couple of layers of security doors, and there's and when you go in, there's like a guard stationed on duty inside, inside the sort of antechamber, and then there's another door beyond him, and he stands up, and they kind of greet each other, and Lassiter nods and says, "Would you open the door for us?" And so the guard, gives you a look and remains kind of very carefully neutral, and he's in a code, and the door opens up, and so inside there's this small vault, basically, with a sort of a plexiglass enclosure, and within it is a tall, human-sized serpent person.
With arms?
Yeah. Kind of sinewy, weird arms.
What was in that body bag, clearly, now that you see it.
You don't know about that. The body bag was such a pile, you would be surprised if it was even this close to human.
Okay.
But inside the sort of plexiglass coffin, this creature, it's sort of sprawled in this kind of X position with its arms and legs sort of sprawled out.
With legs?
Yeah. Really uncomfortably and secured down. And it looks like a huge snake that's been sort of fashioned into a vaguely human form with primitive-looking prehensile thumbs.
Do I need to make a sand roll for something?
Sure, yeah, because it's like two large blue eyes are kind of staring dully out, just vaguely alert.
Missed it by one.
Missed it by one. So that's worth a D6 sanity lost.
You roll on your current sand, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So I thought it was 4.
So remember, if you're ever desperate to reduce the amount you lose, you can foist it off on a bond.
Yeah.
Now,
is 4 going to give me anything?
It won't make you go. It'll bring you closer to the breaking point, wherever that is, but it won't make you instantly freak out.
Does it look similar to the thing in the woods in Chester, Ohio?
Kind of in the same sense that, a chimpanzee is similar to a human.
I don't know that I ever saw one of those. Did I see one?
The one that you guys chased?
Yeah, I thought you saw it. I don't know that I saw it.
Yeah.
And you guys eventually killed it.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah. Since I survived that. Okay, yeah, then similar, okay.
Yeah, that one was sort of shorter and, smaller and more...
And we thought all those
primitive
things buried in the mound were those things. Those are
maybe.
It has this sort of mottled yellow-green color.
This thing does?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it looks like it's sickly, but it looks alive.
Huh.
And, it's kind of hooked up to tubes, and...
far weirder than the dinosaurs. The dinosaurs, at least, are real.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that thing is.
So Lassiter lets you get a good look at the thing.
Mm-hmm.
He says, "We have to keep him restrained like this because it can distort his musculature, extend its head 2 feet out if we were to give it the room to do it. And you can imagine what his fangs and poison would be like."
Mm.
We caught this thing.
Can you imagine it?
Apparently I can.
We caught this thing years ago. It had infiltrated our company. And
wait, you didn't notice that this guy was in your company? Can they change shape?
it was posing in a perfect replica of one of our employees, Louis Ahmed, materials scientist.
Disturbing.
Which we kind of knew they could do, though.
It was Jim Avery that eventually saw the clues that Lewis's that Ahmed's behavior had begun to change and had gotten very, very strange, and he'd gone from being an intensely private individual to inhuman and incommunicative. And Jim figured out that there was something unnatural about him. When we took Ahmed into custody and began questioning him and trying to figure out exactly what he was, that's when he eventually, killed 2 of our guards, but revealed his true nature.
Where do you think these things are from?
Well, we've interrogated this thing many times over the years. That's why it's still alive. It's managed to make itself useful in our researches, and at the same time, it's told us that it's not the only one of its kind out there. That there are others like it that are posing in human shapes, hiding in disguise, and working their slow plans to take this world back from all of us.
Back implies that they had this world at one point.
So they did. Millions of years ago, and this creature survived since then. Most of that time in a torpor until it came alive again decades ago, and began searching for ways to find others of its kind, or to find a way back to the time when its people ruled over all of this.
So how did this all tie in with your founder, Hunt? Because we saw some evidence of this with thing in Ohio as well.
Well,
I mean, if they're going to kill me, I'd like to know the answers anyway.
What do you know about Mr. Hunt?
I know that at some point he changed.
He's probably also a lizard person.
Yeah, could well be.
That's the conclusion that we came to as well. At first, we, like everyone else, thought that Mr. Hunt was simply a stark genius.
Eccentric genius.
Yes.
Oh, that would explain the heat.
Yeah.
In his office.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Ahmed here would much prefer it if he weren't stuck in a refrigerator, and he would be a much more dire danger to the rest of us. Mr. Hunt, whatever he was, knew how to build portals in time.
I felt like shocked by that. Although I'm pretty pale from seeing this thing.
Yeah. So he's kind of watching you, and he's obviously taking mental notes and kind of gauging, and piecing things together as he's talking and getting your reactions. So creatures like this, it's just a matter of time before they move, before they seize everything. It took all of our devices with all the advantages we had to restrain this one of them and keep it restrained all these years. There are others out there, others in positions of power, and the only ways that we know to recognize them are tricks like the UV flash that you went through in our security building. But that's not a thing that we can do widely, and so we've made contingencies. Here you are, coming in from the FBI, and no doubt sooner or later, your others of your people will realize that you haven't reported back in, and they'll send in the cavalry. This is a contingency we've been planning around for many, many years. We'd hoped we had more time available to us, but we don't. So we're moving. I wanted you to get a look at what's at stake here and have some time to think about it. Because we can't leave you here. And I'd prefer not to kill you or any of your friends.
Fulquist, maybe.
So on the other side, perhaps there'll be room for you.
On the other side of
the gate.
He's offering you a spot in Atlantis, as it were.
well, we're supposed to go through the gate.
We are.
I'm thinking that'll get us through.
Well, we're going to put you back in your cooler again. I'm sorry that it's confined. I think we can take the handcuffs off. You can make yourself a little more comfortable while you wait. And you may be happy to know that your 3 friends are still alive.
Good, I was about to ask about that.
Our doctors are doing what they can for them. In the meantime, sit tight. So the 3 of you eventually come around. Each of you make a surgery roll on behalf of the NPCs for somebody else on your team. Who are you rolling for?
The person on my left.
I don't want. That's her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd rather you roll for me.
Okay, well, won't we all roll for the person on our right then?
Okay.
All right. So it's a 70%
I don't want you to live.
Okay, pass.
Okay. So get another. Who are you rolling for? You're rolling for
Woodhouse.
No, you.
I roll for her.
Amber. All right. So Hawtrey, get a D4 hit points back.
4.
Four! Woo! Okay.
29.
Nice.
Nice.
Oh, you can't roll nice.
1. Yeah, they're not very happy with me.
What do I have to do?
70.
33!
Nice.
33, that's a critical.
So get 2 D4 hit points back there.
You're
Woodhouse.
welcome, you're welcome.
6.
Nice. That brings me back up to my max.
Except for your crooked witch nose.
Except for my, this half of my face needs to be scarved now.
Yes.
Like, just arrange my hair.
Like the
So-
Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah.
At different times, the 3 of you come around in what looks like a very kind of cramped
Are we together?
aid station.
Okay.
You realize you're in the same chamber eventually, but you've got like dividers up, between you. It's this sort of small aid station. There's probably a dozen beds in this chamber. There are 2 or 3 other. Well, there's more than that. There's I think there's 2 or 3 other people in there. Jim Avery, who was the head of security, who's
Hanging on by a thread.
got a leg up in traction and all kinds of tubes hooked up to him, and another of the security guards who's not quite as bad off. And there are doctors and nurses who kind of come and go, and they're very kind of businesslike. They seem competent, but they also seem wary. Like they're smart enough to leave your restraints in place and not stand within biting distance, and if you, I don't know if you would try to talk to them or not.
I would.
Talk to them,
I would, yeah.
or they don't want to talk to you.
I'd be like, excuse me, I need to speak to who's in charge.
Can I have some juice?
You will soon, ma'am. And so, basically, you're each of you kind of recuperating from variously
Sure,
invasive
very-
levels of
Either drugged or in
surgery.
pain still.
Yeah, and but it's the facility. It's basically, it looks like concrete. It doesn't look like you're in a hospital. as much as it looks like you're in a kind of
Bunker,
kind of a whitewashed, jumped up bunker with
Do we
better
see
lighting.
anything out of the ordinary in here that?
No, it's just, there's sort of little monitors, right? Blood pressure monitors and heart monitors and those kinds of things. And
Can I talk with them, or can they not hear me?
you eventually kind of realize you're there. I mean, Woodhouse is in better shape than
Anybody else?
Yeah, than the two of you are.
Yeah, I'd want to
what are
get
your
caught
current
up.
hit points after that?
Mine's 5.
Yeah, so you're both after you come out of surgery, you're both pretty
Messed up.
yeah.
Well, are we in drugs or combination? Probably.
Yeah, you got.
I would want to know what
Painkiller
happened.
IVs.
I'm sure I would see if I could get one of them to tell me, like, what the hell. So
Sure.
I don't know anything.
You tell her. Oh, sanity. You guys get to roll sanity now.
Oh shit.
For violence.
Yeah. Did I not make you roll already?
You made me roll for what happened last time, but
Yeah,
not
make a roll now for getting shot and nearly killed.
I got
and
an
for
11.
throwing grenades and trying to kill people.
Nah, just the shooting, just the getting shot.
61 pass.
Okay. And Woodhouse.
I got an 11. I passed.
All right. And
Shockingly, I don't
God,
forget what
I did
happened.
not pass at all.
yeah, let me think. Is there anything else you need
96.
to make on that?
Helplessness, since she didn't have a gun when her friends needed her.
Okay, so you failed yours there,
Yeah.
Hawtrey.
Mm-hmm.
Suffer a permanent injury. There we go.
I suffered.
There you did. So, and you'll reduce to. Okay, so yeah, roll a d6.
3.
What'd you roll?
3.
3? Okay, lose 3 sanity. And put a little check mark on your violence, how many times you suffered from violence tracker on the front of the sheet.
Okay.
So you can kind of get the rundown from Woodhouse. And Dressner, they bring you eventually, they basically leave you cooling your heels as they start bringing the highest priority things
Well, I
out
can
of
see
their
all that's
lab.
going on.
Yeah. And they, kind of start hand carting out things from the lab, one crazy crate full of crazy stuff at a time.
They're taking it just out the way we came in, or okay.
And eventually, like, the whole squad of people kind of is passes by negotiating what has to be the Serpent Man's container, big coffin-shaped thing. And then, it's not like instantaneous. I mean, you're there for hours, and eventually somebody comes in and puts a chemical toilet in the corner, like the 2 feet away corner of your little cell.
Like you're planning on staying there?
Yeah. And
For a while.
bring you, they bring you
They've got a bunch of seat rations I saw with them or whatever.
they bring you basically a meal and a meal ready to eat, and a gallon of water, and a little cup to pour the water into.
That's a sign they're not going to kill me. That's good.
Right. And it's basically like this interminable wait for you. Unless you've got heroics to attempt, you're just killing time and waiting.
You're not gonna continue the good fight.
No.
Well, if they're going to take us through the gate, then we're going to.
That was not.
Do anything.
That was not a good fight.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
No.
I survived it.
That was terrible.
Any fight that you live through is a good fight.
Yeah. Sort of see that.
You did that thing, Jeremy.
And
I didn't know that they were good guys.
after,
I don't know that they are good guys.
yeah,
I
and
don't know what good is.
you basically, there's like probably a clock, kind of digital clock on one of the computers or something, across the way that you can kind of squint and see to keep track of the time, and that's like it. And 2 days later, like 2 full
So I
days
slept
past.
twice at least.
Yeah, you slept. You got nothing else to do.
Yeah.
But brood and sleep and scheme or whatever.
Right, yeah.
And
I finished chewing through my wrist by this point.
You
So.
can't reach your wrist to chew it.
and
That's stupid.
I just could picture him.
and finally a team comes for you, and they make you put the handcuffs on again and back.
Okay.
And bring you out, and out through the halls, like the corridors are empty now.
Oh,
The
that's
giant stacks of survival equipment are gone. And they bring you out and through the labs, and the labs are mostly almost entirely empty now, and to the elevator, and bring you into the elevator and key it in and hit 9. And key in again, and then it goes down a level, and opens again. And the final level, as you come out, is this sort of maze of pressure locks and air locks, and these huge reinforced carbon steel bulkheads.
So they don't have dinosaurs wandering out
Why would they invest all of this?
to control that gate. They control time travel. That's pretty powerful. That's where that gold's coming from.
There are like colored lines on the ground and on the walls, kind of meandering through mazes of corridors and rooms. And the few people that you see here are either security guards, in the sort of khaki, brown uniforms, and then just workers in jumpsuits and combat boots, and they're sort of, there's not many here, and they're all very intent, and there's you go through rings of these airlocks, and like air pressure changes as you go. The humidity and temperature levels kind of change and shift upwards as you go.
So it's getting more humid and hotter.
Yeah. Several layers of these locks. The humidity is probably like 80%, and the temperature is about 98 degrees.
Gross.
And then it opens, the last one opens to this enormous chamber, the size of a concert hall, that's filled with equipment and machinery and electronics and computers and readouts and monitors and the gate. And you immediately recognize it's almost identical to the one that you saw in Hellbend.
So here's my question. How did Delta Green think we were going to get to go through the gate and get to Greenland? Like, are we supposed to have known how to use
Well, Delta Green didn't know anything about Greenland.
Yeah, no, that was the
alien
info.
or whatever the voice is,
Yeah.
right? Okay, gotcha.
Next to the gate itself, there's this little weird wheel-shaped device that's covered in these strange letters. It has these huge, thick power cables running up into the ceiling from the wheel-shaped device that's attached to the gate.
Vertical or horizontal?
What
Like
is
a wheel of fortune or like a
the wheel?
Like a
Yeah, it's probably like where it can be manipulated by somebody standing up.
vertical, but
Yeah. They kind of escort you in, and the couple of the workers who are in there looking up, and you can see on a couple of the monitors, like where a security officer is stationed, they're showing what looks to be the view up and out, like the outside, and you can see like police cars and what's obviously, the FBI siege happening out there, where they're sort of restraining themselves from going in like Waco, all over again, but they have the place completely blocked in up there.
They're going in for a rude surprise.
Yeah.
There's nobody there.
And so the guards, I guess it's Lieutenant Dewson who's probably escorting you, but, he kind of is, I don't know, he's like watching for your reaction when you see that. Like, so what do you say? Or is anything sort of,
I'm not surprised.
do you react at all?
Oh, we don't have anything to do with them. How would they know? I mean...
Oh, surprised to see the thing outside? Or
The monitor
gate?
where you, either one. Yeah.
The gate doesn't faze me at all.
No, but the people outside,
I'm not surprised, but it's kind of...
I mean, 2 days have gone by.
Yeah.
That seems about right.
We haven't reported in.
But we're not with the FBI, really.
I am.
Okay. But you didn't, it was unofficial.
No, we had an official cover story.
Yeah, you came here under a warrant.
It was part of the investigation of all that gold smuggling.
Mm-hmm. You have a few minutes to kind of wait as they're sort of keying things in and punching in things and doing technical...
Do they have cubes like we saw before?
The gate does, yeah.
It does, okay.
Yeah. Over a couple of minutes, you see they sort of set whatever they're doing, setting coordinates, like the little wheel kind of moves into a new position that doesn't mean anything to you. And as you're going through all this, you eventually recognize like there's some shapes around the gate and all around the walls and like wiring and things that you saw coming in that, you just are now piecing together that look for all the world like all the thermite and explosive charges you could want.
So they're going to go through and blow everything behind us. So nobody finds it. Are the other people here? These guys here? I'll ask Dewson where the rest of my people are.
He nods to the gate.
They've already gone through.
They're in the hospital. The gate, the arch, changes from this sort of empty arch of the wall on the other side of it to it fills with mist just out of nowhere, and a little light flashes on top of it, and somebody yells out, "We're active, we're live, the gate is open." Dewson says, "We're up."
I don't have any choice at this point.
He was hoping you'd think that, and is relieved that he doesn't have to fight you over it. And
I'm just thinking, what stupid decisions I've made.
Goodbye, family.
Exactly.
Goodbye, job.
Exactly. I could have been perfectly safe.
Retire in a few years.
Investigating white-collar crime. Could have had
make a sanity roll on helplessness.
Yeah.
Unlike them, you know exactly what's going on.
I made
here. Okay. Is that still worth a point?
Probably.
I think that's still worth a point, even if you succeed. So put another helplessness check on there.
Okay, yeah.
You're immune to it now?
Fully immune to helplessness.
Oh, you got all three? Ooh, we finally get all. Do you want to burn a bond and not take that point and take that check?
No, my bonds are what I'm bemoaning, the loss of my bonds.
All right. So as you're going to the gate, you kind of come out of the other side of it, where all the scars kind of, finally hit home for you. So as you become adapted to helplessness, that means you can circle adapted on there. From now on, you're going to automatically succeed at helplessness sanity tests. And your power is going to drop through the floor as your psyche kind of gets accustomed to not having any control over
anything. Exactly.
So roll a d6.
You develop a few really
Try to roll.
harmful coping mechanisms.
One.
So lucky.
Just really low. This guy's really lucky.
Drop the power by only 1 point.
So does that take 5 off?
You don't lose any sanity.
Okay.
But your power times 5 rating changes,
that went
obviously.
down. Break point, anything change now? Or willpower, that drops 1?
Yeah, your willpower drops 1. On the other side of it is, alright. So as you come through, it's not a mirror image, but it's kind of similar, right? You're in. It's this big kind of hangar, kind of a building. Is what it looks like.
But it's a building. It's not a cave.
Yeah, it doesn't look like you're underground.
Is it still hot and humid?
Yep, hot and humid, and there's like lots of. There's just tons. There are sort of walkways between giant pallets of things that have been stacked up and cataloged and organized, and you can kind of smell diesel exhaust from the little forklifts that are in the warehouse here, and there are a couple of workers in there operating the same job on this side of the gate, and so as you step through, the guards that were with you come through as well and kind of nudge you on, and there's like there's like safety areas marked out around the entrance, so they make sure to bring you past that and out of the way, and then Dewson says that's it, and so the technician kind of shut it down. They give another couple of sort of code phrases to indicate that it's closing again for now, and the little flashy light switches off, and this sort of this kind of hum of really powerful electricity kind of winds down audibly. Yeah, and the mist vanishes.
So did it just feel like walking through a mist?
Well, you lost a willpower point, which is not a crisis in this case because you've got coming through. You lose a willpower point and you lose a point of sanity.
In addition to what I just lost.
Yep. Okay. Going through the gate, it feels weird. Like you feel it. You kind of feel your entire body and your brain kind of change in some way. Maybe a real subtle way. You can feel it. They escort you, still a prisoner, out in, and Dewson kind of ruefully says, "Welcome to base camp." They bring you kind of out of the initial warehouse kind of room chamber and into the open, and the whole, it's like this sprawling compound of a few acres that's surrounded by this big cement and reinforced steel wall that's 14 feet high that kind of leans out at an angle and is topped by razor wire on the outer lip of it. And there's the wall has like a steel walkway that circuits all the way around it on the inside. And you can see a couple of people up there, at different points, with rifles, and there are obviously like ladders here and there, leading up to the walkway, and there's cement bunkhouses hanging off of the wall, the curtain wall, like capsules, but big. Like each of them would easily hold, 100 people.
So and we've got a big organization going on here, clearly. I mean, we saw that. They've
been doing stuff here for
decades.
Years, right? And there's these three large towers at different points along the walls that appear to be all glass, or at least bulletproof glass, because they have you can tell as you're looking that they have gun slits mounted here and there, and each of the watchtowers has a guard with some kind of.
I got all these questions.
See where we are.
Yeah,
but where are you?
When is more important. I suspect we're millions of years back.
Freaking one a long time ago.
Long time.
Greenland back when it was not green.
When it was green.
When it was green.
So the rest of the area inside of that is mostly open ground and small, squat cement building buildings that seem to be storage depots. The guards lead you towards one of those.
I want to ask, can I go to the hospital? I'd like to see my people.
Yeah. Let me get you. Let me put you in your room first, and I'll convey the request up.
Thanks.
So they take you into one of these sort of squat cement buildings, and it's sort of through a couple of rooms to an elevator. Elevator goes down, to and opens up again to a complex airlocked series of tunnels, like Warren of tunnels, that here and there these huge elevators going up and down, and bunk rooms where people live, where people obviously live long term, and like little apartments basically, and they kind of take you to one. Eventually they find the one that you're in, and it's basically the brig, right? Mm-hmm. So they kind of lock you in, and there's a little, there's like a pile of random books and a bed that's almost
2 days in the closet.
Almost comfortable, and and a toilet that flushes instead of just being a can that's filling up. And
so I'm feeling pretty good about that.
Yeah, it's paradise
compared to
the weekend. After a while, somebody comes for you and offers to take you to the infirmary.
Great.
He basically, this is another guard. It's not Doosan again. Because Doosan's got more things to do than just babysit you.
Sure.
But he introduces himself and tries to be very professional and says that
I'll do the same.
Kind of gives you the ground rules, which are about what you would expect. No shenanigans. Don't run off. Don't try to get out into the compound. Don't stay with an escort at all times, and
I will follow the rules.
Yeah.
Don't give us any reason to shoot you.
And so you kind of go. He leads you through the Warren until you get to an elevator, and the elevator goes up and opens into one of those like big sort of bunker buildings along the wall of the compound. And you can tell it's one of those because eventually you see windows that are letting sunlight in. Brings you to the infirmary, and it's this little small. There's a couple of there's like 3 or 4 areas, infirmary areas, and one of them that you pass, it's like the door is closed off and there's a window in it. And he actually stops and kind of gets your attention and sort of taps on next to the window to get you to look into that.
Sure, I'll look.
And you see, it's nothing spectacular. Like there's 3 people, 2 men and a woman who were laid up, who are clearly really, really sick, and they have some kind of weird sort of splotchy discoloration, Mm-hmm. And he says, that's one reason you don't go off into the wilderness without preparation and protection.
Sure.
We call it the rot. And you don't want it.
I agree. I don't want it.
So he kind of nods you ahead and takes you around until you're in the infirmary room that has your 3 friends, and they're kind of. They're restrained, but not restrained enough that they're not going to be able to heal,
Right.
But they've obviously, they're, the 2 of them are like bandages all over the place, Her, she's got a leg that looks like it's enough to
track
fall
or
off
something.
if they were to stop helping with it. Woodhouse is, she looks better. Like she's probably got all the broken nose bandages all over her face,
Just one bandage. All over my head.
And but she looks alert and isn't like laid up, and connected up with all the IVs and, the beeping things that are going to freak out if she moves too fast, like Fulquist and Hawtrey are. But they're all awake enough that you can converse and compare notes. I mean, the guard stays there. He's not going to leave you alone, but he sort of stays near the door and, lets you move in, lets you go in and figures he's given you enough of the speech that if you do something stupid, it's on you.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to talk to him.
Yeah.
Just tell him I'll describe what I saw outside and where I think we are, which is the past.
What do you mean we're in the past? Because we don't know we went through an archway.
Oh yeah, you guys have gone through the gate.
Oh, really?
Yes. Who was here before? Are any of you from that were there in New Mexico?
Yeah.
You were?
Yeah.
I
think both of them were.
Yeah.
You died on the first run. And your first character and second character died on the first run.
I think all three of you were
Have survived
there.
since then. And I'll describe
Where did
it.
they go?
I'll just tell you what you saw.
Ow.
So we've gone through the arch and we're in the past?
Well, I don't know. But
What do they intend to do with us?
Are you talking loud enough that
Yeah.
Keep it
hear you?
low.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He sort of perks up and says, 1.1 million years. Yes, ma'am.
1.1 million years?
Oh, that's fascinating.
What do you plan on doing with us?
With you?
Yes.
I don't make the plans, but as far as I can tell, they're hoping you'll come around and be productive members of society.
So we're here.
Productive members of
We're
society.
here. Yeah. A million years in the future.
Past.
No, I said a million years in the
Okay.
future, we're productive members of society.
Well, I wouldn't say so, really. That's debatable.
Well, maybe you weren't.
A million years?
1.1, yes, ma'am.
1.1 million. Yeah. That extra 100,000
But-
is half of human existence.
Wow,
So
still
Wait, where
a
were
million years. A
we were
million
in
years.
Pennsylvania.
One-
No.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah, Pennsylvania.
Million years.
Trying to
Are we
remember where
in the
the
same
oceans
geographic
were.
area? Just
No, ma'am. This is Greenland.
Yeah, see?
Oh, so we wound up where we were supposed to be anyways. It works.
Beg pardon, ma'am?
What?
Greenland. I always wanted to go to Greenland.
Greenland, you say?
Oh my gosh. Well,
So that's where we are.
All right.
And that's what's happening.
that is interesting.
They seem to
Here
want us
we
to sum
are.
up.
To do what? What do you do here?
Well, we're starting over.
What about the rest of the world?
As far as we know, the rest of the world's doomed. It
Sounds
will in
relative.
1.1 million years.
So you're just creating a new civilization here,
Yes, ma'am.
learning from the mistakes of our future.
We hope so.
Are the snake people around?
Just Ahmed.
Okay, good.
That you know of.
Well,
I don't know why we're keeping.
We're being careful about that.
All right.
so I'll describe that to you guys as well.
So we can't ever go back to the.
No, ma'am. The gate's gonna get nuked shortly.
So we'll never see our loved ones again. That's what they're telling us.
Can you send one of your people to Berkeley and fetch my daughter? And
Wait, you're going to nuke the gate that's right here?
He kind of thinks it over and says, I'm honestly not sure.
anybody?
Okay. I mean, it just seems
Yeah,
kind
I
of
want my daughter too.
dangerous to nuke a gate that your town is built around.
I would very much like to see my daughter.
Don't take the word nuke too seriously. What I mean is, once we have everything set up here, the gate's not needed anymore. The gate will be shut down. It'll be destroyed, so we don't get any unwelcome surprises coming through.
What if we'd like to go back before that happens?
That's not an option, man. I'm sorry. Everybody makes sanity rules except Dressner, because he already did this.
I've all dealt with this issue.
Yeah, and you didn't seem to have a problem with never seeing your lovely wife of
I
30
do have a
years.
problem. I'm completely
Pass.
guilty about it.
Okay?
Yeah. I was kind of
Oh, I
already.
passed too. I passed. How did I do that? Because I cannot believe that
I'd already resigned
years in the
myself.
past, and I'm never going to see my daughter again.
I critical passed.
All right.
You're happy about it. I'm happy about this. This
All
is great.
three of you, lose 1 point of sanity, and put a little check mark in helplessness.
Makes me adapted.
That's your third one.
Do you want to burn a bond that you're never going to see
Or
again?
lose a D6 power.
I don't understand what's wrong with being adapted. I would think that's a good thing.
You take a giant hit to your power stat.
Yeah, your psyche is damaged.
Yeah, because you're like, nothing I do matters.
You're fatalistic, yeah.
By burn a bond, does that go away?
Well, no, you just lose points on it.
Okay, I think I would rather lose points
Not a bond.
on a bond. I'm
Okay. Roll a d4.
alright.
3.
Okay, knock 3 points off of one of your bonds.
Your boyfriend.
My daughter?
No.
I said your boyfriend.
You don't want to lose connection with your daughter necessarily.
She's lost it.
But
She's
I'm
a million
going
years
to.
in
She's
the
a million
past.
years
But does
away.
that make it your connection weaker?
I would think it would a little bit.
Maybe.
Well, when you have some time to think, you can sort out
Love
exactly
knows
what
no
that means.
bounds of either
So
time
make
or
a note on the back of
space.
your sheet
No, I
there
don't think
that
you
you-
don't
you're-
lose
that
your
that
love,
bond
but-
dropped by 3 due to your realizing you'd been yanked out of the world you knew.
Do we all have that weird feeling since we weren't conscious when we went through the gate?
Yeah. Each of you drop another sanity point.
I'll just touch.
And lose a point of power.
No.
Damn it.
That was just willpower. It was
I'm
temporary.
1 point away from my breaking point. I've had
It's a
it!
little too much.
It is a little too much.
You can kind of tell. That
Yeah.
you're about to
You're on
freak.
edge. I'm freaking out, dude.
You literally can't take much more
I really
of this.
can't take any more. None.
I would like to apologize for my reactions at the compound, for what it's worth.
Okay. You mean that? I'm asking out of character. Is that something you mean, or are you just trying to get him on your side?
How sincere are you being? On a scale of 1
I think I might be being sincere now because I thought that they were lizard people, and I realize now that they're not.
Anti-lizard people?
So, yeah. So I'm actually being sincere about it.
Yeah, give me a charisma roll.
And I know this is just a mook, but it doesn't cost me anything to say I'm sorry. Even though I fumbled it.
Oh,
So it did cost me something to say I'm sorry.
I would just like to apologize
Tell
for
that
throwing
to
3
Avery.
grenades
At your companions.
at you and your companion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the
He-
way you apologize just reminds them of how horrible
Right.
you really were.
Yeah, he kind of nods and says, "Well,
Fuck you too, buddy.
I understand my friend Jim Avery might walk again." He says very, very coldly.
That's right.
You unfathomable monster.
I do the right thing.
Just do the right
I'll
thing.
teach you.
But lo and behold,
I'm distancing myself from him.
He
As much as you can restrain your bed.
Yeah, pretty much.
he escorts you back to your room,
sure.
and a day passes.
You should have said, I'm on it. My friend will walk again.
The 3 of you who are all, or the 2 of you who still have hit points to regain,
Yeah.
can attempt a contest to get a hit point back.
How does that work?
What kind of
Times
contest?
5.
Not a contest.
A contest.
A contest.
Yes,
Not
yes.
a contest between.
I failed.
Okay, no hit point for you.
I failed.
No hit point for you either. The next day, Dressner.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you've gotten all the attention lately. The other people are awake. What are you 3 laid up in the hospital doing or saying or asking for or anything like that?
I'm so freaked out and hurting and kind of in a drug haze that I'm wondering now. I find myself wondering if this is real. Like, is this real? Is this because this feels an awful lot like some of my horrible insomnia time when the reality was blurred. Yes. And so I'm like trying to figure out a way to discover somehow if this is real.
I shot myself in the leg when I wanted to find that out.
Well, I'm not going to do it. I only have one good one left.
Not everyone is as...
I mean, my leg obviously I'm in pain, but that doesn't mean anything because this is just too weird.
Not everyone is as, let's call it, determined as you are.
I'm filled with determination.
Well...
So looking for hints of reality is what I'm doing.
Sure. So here's what you remember.
Okay.
Every time anyone comes in, anyone at all, I don't care what they're doing. Seriously though, could you talk to whoever's in charge? I have a daughter. She's only 16. Please.
Well,
just bring her here, and then I'll do whatever you want me to do.
I'm sorry, ma'am, but the Duxbury, the Duxbury Gate has already been destroyed.
But that's in the future.
Yes, ma'am.
You can time travel to a time when it isn't, and then retrieve her.
Well, no, ma'am, because we don't have that gate at that time anymore. And if we had already traveled to that time to retrieve your daughter, she would already be here.
So clearly it hasn't happened.
Yet.
I'm sorry, ma'am.
It's a conundrum.
We've all lost a great deal.
I'm gonna do that to every single person, though.
I am at my breaking point.
Go insane.
You just have a nervous breakdown on the next bed over.
You can foist yours off on a bond if you want.
I'm foisting.
Okay. Which bond do you want to take to hit?
I guess Jillian, my childhood friend, because I've never gone this long ever without keeping up with her. Like, not this much time has ever
Roll
passed.
a d4.
1.
Okay, so drop 1 from the sanity loss, so you don't lose that point, and 1 from that bond, and make a note somewhere that later explain why your bond is deteriorated.
Whenever I find a moment alone, or as alone as I can get, tied down to a bed, like if everyone else is asleep,
every few hours, like they'll come and unchain you under guard to kind of get you up and moving and make sure that things are working right and you don't start getting bed sores. But anyway, go ahead.
do they let me go into the bathroom by myself, or?
Probably under supervision, given your grenades.
Yeah, if you're mobile enough to do that, then yeah, but they're not going to let you close the door or have any real privacy.
Okay.
But it's slightly better than having a nurse holding a bedpan for you.
Right. At nights when I think other people are asleep, I'm going to start whispering out, be like, okay, I'm here in Greenland. Where's this agent you're talking about?
Hoping the aliens communicate to you.
Trying to talk to the aliens.
Praying to the otherworldly beings. Where are you at? I did what you wanted.
Yeah.
How do I get back? And I feel like a complete and total idiot for doing it, but the only other...
You should, because you're basically praying to the snake you met on a plane. Praying to the snakes on a plane.
Maybe. I mean, the only thing I can think of is to let Ahmed out and let him.
What?
Well, he's the only outsider here.
He's. Oh,
Well,
what?
here's my logic.
Don't do it.
He's the only outsider here.
He's
No,
Donald
he's not.
Trump, basically. Of this world.
If he came, he might know how to reconfigure that gate to the Chester, Ohio.
And he might
gate.
be just so pissed off he kills everyone here and does
True.
that himself.
But what other option do we have? Live here for the next 1.1 million years?
Yes.
Well,
We won't live that long.
yeah. I mean, I like that alternative better than the
Ravening snake.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this is what's going on in my head. I mean, but
You aren't talking about it out loud to us?
I mean, I only talk about it out loud when I think everyone else is asleep, and it's just me whispering to the entities.
But she has insomnia.
Yeah.
It's true. So I'm sure you
I
hear
can hear
me
a lot of it.
whispering to myself, and I'm sure that does a lot for your sanity.
Yeah, it does. Does. Great.
He's on edge.
Everybody is on
That's
edge.
the only thing I can
It's
think of.
crazy.
And if that's the case, then that means that the
Literal
guy
crazy
who met me on the plane was a snake person.
I don't know that he was.
Might have been.
I don't think
I
that he
think they were
was.
I
possessed
think
of
he was.
somehow taking control of.
That's what I think too.
That's what it looked like with the techs in the lab.
Yeah.
She didn't look like she was.
And if that's the case, but like right now, that's the only thing I've got is, they brought Ahmed through as well.
Yeah.
He's the only outsider. So unless someone pops up, that's the course of action I'm gonna go on in like the next month or so. I'm not gonna be hasty.
So,
I know if
so
these
when-
guys,
when-
if I don't get executed for what I've done, it's gonna be at least that time before I have
Any kind of freedom.
any freedom.
So when are you doing your prayers to the
It's the aliens.
alien spirits?
At like 10 or 11 at night when I think everyone else is asleep.
Everybody's asleep.
Penelope?
He woke you up talking.
Penelope?
Yes.
Are you alright?
I'm fine.
Going horse?
I think I'm fine. What's wrong with you?
Back to sleep.
That's near impossible these days.
Even with all the painkillers they're getting.
No, yeah, sadly.
So I'm coming to visit them as often as they'll let me. I mean, once a day at least, if they'll let me.
Do you have any sway in getting us out of here?
I don't get me swaying anything. I live in the south.
Why are you free?
Because I didn't try to kill them, maybe?
I didn't
Well.
really try to kill them either.
Not really.
Not really.
But you're...
I'm not free, by the way. I'm locked up.
Yeah, you look real locked up there.
What justification do they have for keeping her in the medical ward after she's made her full recovery?
The next day, yeah, they'll probably take Woodhouse out and take her to a little slightly more comfortable jail cell.
Have they given Avery a private room, or is he still in here with us?
No, he has his own place. He's recuperating.
Okay. So I'm sure would have been glaring at me this whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't have put it in with you guys.
Yeah. The next day they bring, they bring Dressner and Woodhouse out since you're ambulatory and recuperating well enough, and introduce you to Dr. John Tucker, who's
Too late to eat us up.
yeah, and who apparently was sort of was the head of the compound for many years. I mean, he looks pretty young. He's probably I don't know. He's in his 40s. So he was obviously very young when he kind of came aboard. But he basically dresses kind of business casual and looks like an academic, except for the pistol that he keeps on his belt. And they bring you into his an office where he's got a lot of diagrams and plans, and you can kind of see what looks like a map of like the region around the compound, and there's obviously a couple of other sort of settlements or installations elsewhere, within several miles of it, and so they sit you down at the desk with him and a couple guards sort of stand back waiting, and he kind of looks you over and says, well, you're here. I imagine you have some questions.
Yes. So, why? Why did you guys do this? I understand when, a million years in the past, but why come back here? Why
that
build all
far
this?
back, too. Why not, 10,000? Why a million years? That seems...
As near as we can tell, this is as far back as we dared to go in the window of time that we have between the Ophians going dormant and our civilization taking shape. This gives us the largest possible lead time to develop, for humanity to develop and establish itself and grow and evolve enough that we can confront them and face them as they begin to emerge.
But you know that you fail.
Well, that's the question, isn't it?
I mean, unless we're edging into, an alternate timeline theory, you know that you're going to fail because this hasn't happened.
It's our hope, obviously, that that we have some wiggle room when it comes to causality. It's our hope that if we don't succeed in saving the exact world that we came from, that we can save humanity in this one.
I need to sit down harder. I need to get back up and sit down again.
It is hard to get your head around. What do you envision our role here being?
Well, you have useful skills.
A lot of counting done here?
We certainly have need of people who are skilled at organization, who are skilled at keeping track of the numbers of supplies.
Well, that I can do.
Who know how to defend themselves, who have leadership qualities.
That's for sure.
And not to mention the anthropological studies that are obviously going to be needed.
You have a librarian?
We do.
Well, then there we go.
Well, clearly, we're stuck here at this point.
Well, I'm afraid so.
We need to get used to that.
When are you going to destroy the gate going back?
It's just the two of them right now.
Yeah. But we've heard it's destroyed, right? You've already heard that.
Well, they said that the Duxbury, the gate on the Duxbury side was destroyed at the time that you left it.
So you're for good.
There's other gates, so we'll mention it in front of him, but yeah, though we know that there are other gates. The trick is we don't know how to operate it. There's no way, even if we could get to the gate, there's no way we can choose where we're going, unless our alien overlords give us some info.
3 days.
He kind of
2 days.
Tucker. What's your human? Oh yeah.
No, sorry, it's only 61.
Well, that's still great. Tucker kind of, as you're speaking to him, he kind of blanks for a second. It's not for long. It's just a couple of seconds, but there's this moment where his face kind of goes a little slack, like there's suddenly nobody home, and then he kind of blinks, and it's almost like you imagined it. I'd like to meet with you each and with your companions as they recuperate. Answer whatever questions you have. I'd like to get to know you better until we get to a point where we can all be confident that you've begun to make the adjustment and that we can count on you.
It's a bit of an adjustment to make, but yes.
I'm sure it is.
All right, well, that sounds good. So when we leave him, It's a guard just taking us someplace.
Mm-hmm.
I said, can you let Deucent, what's his name right?
He was the lieutenant of one of the guards.
Or Stein, one of them.
Yeah, like Stein was
Higher
there's
up.
Avery, then there's Stein, then there's Deucent, and probably a few other supervisors.
Deucent's the one I took
Yeah.
the most. He's the one that got brought in here.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll ask him to let Lieutenant Deucent know that I'd like to speak to him.
All right. A few hours later, presumably shifts change or something like that, and Deucent knocks on the door
And unlocks it.
unlocks it.
Lets himself
He waits for the signal just to
Yeah, I'll let him
light
come
and
in, whatever.
you know, and then he steps in and says, "Well," kind of looks you over appraisingly. Says, "How are you coping?"
It's a lot to take in, but we're kind of dealing with it. We spoke with Dr. Tucker earlier, and I just wanted to let you know that there's something off about him.
Oh, he's a genius.
Yeah, it was something more than that.
What do you mean?
Is he suddenly a genius?
Yeah, I'm going to hint that he's a snake guy in disguise. I don't know, but there's...
No,
You've already checked him out?
yeah, those are tests that we do routinely
Okay,
around here.
because
After what we've been through.
Request another one.
yeah,
Something
just
else.
keep an eye. If I was you, I'd keep an eye on him. He was
Well,
acting
well.
very strangely, in a way that we've encountered before. So no, I'll just tell him. I'll say it was reminiscent of what we know about Hunt and the changes he introduced. Just a heads up. I mean, it didn't. Maybe I'm wrong, but something was off.
Well, I'll keep an eye out. So the next day, to recuperating can make con rolls
Yeah, how often are we supposed to make these when we recover?
once a day.
Again.
They're going to label you as failed to thrive and stop feeding you.
By 4.
It's taking a long time to heal. You're not very healthy.
We have the rot.
The rot.
Probably. Probably. Shit.
Well, so I don't know. Have I gone back and seen them? And has he mentioned the 3 days thing yet, or no?
I'm not going to say anything about
Okay,
that
that's-
if there's
Okay, so
if there's
around.
any guard around.
Right. Okay. All right. So yeah, I have no clue. So I'm just gonna go along.
And I don't know that I said that,
No.
obviously. Yeah.
No, so we're just gonna plug along.
You didn't tell me.
I'm still pondering a way to get back because I don't see it. Unless we can get to that gate and know how to control it.
And I'm sure I can get a message to you in the middle of the night since you have insomnia.
Yeah. You could tell me.
You said 2 more days.
3.
Well,
But it's
that's
2
gonna
more
take-
now.
Yeah. I thought it was been 2 days, but I could be wrong.
Time passes so strangely here.
In reference to what?
I guess my question about when they're going to contact us.
That seems like.
I mean,
it's
I assumed that if they used me, I wouldn't have received the
Gotten the
message.
message, yeah, I guess so.
Unless they like wrote it down on my hand. Start checking my arms for any messages.
Mm-hmm. Coming
have
up
a
through
pen.
your skin.
So you realize people are
possessing.
talking
Well, no,
to
I
you
mean,
like a meat
that's what
puppet
he
now?
said.
Yeah.
You believe him?
Well, I mean, he
You've
has
seen other
gone
people
off.
do it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like questioning it because right now I don't even know if this is real.
Well, this is another opportunity to find out.
Yeah, it's true.
Because
Give
anyway,
me a sanity check.
You guys are killing me. Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
You
People
believe
are
me.
talking through me.
Yes.
Alien.
It's breaking point time.
It is. Alright. So is it when you reach it or you go under it?
no, when you hit the point.
I hit the point. I
Point
hit it.
break. Unless you want to pass it off on a bond again.
I'm not understanding how these bonds are going to help me in the future. if we stay here.
I mean, the goal is that we get back to our own time.
And our families and our...
I'm hoping that's where the Chester, Ohio gate is, but...
Yeah.
When it is, too.
Or, yeah, when it is.
Yeah.
I'll take the sanity hit.
Alright.
Okay, so
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Sure you want a break?
It's
So
going to
what's
be more
your-
I don't know what
interesting.
happens.
well, we reset the breaking point. So what's your current sanity score?
51.
What's your power?
A lot, I think. Oh, 17.
Okay, so the breaking point is now 34 for you. Hopefully, don't ever get that low.
Hopefully not. Can I lose a power?
No.
Yeah. Well, that wasn't so bad.
Oh,
No,
there's
you're
more
not
to
done
it.
yet.
Not done yet, youngin'.
There's more to it. Kieran went in the box.
Oh boy, did he cover it up?
No.
Not at all.
We'll get the shovel and cover it up.
It's you just see
Thinking.
Still. Just going in the
He
box
covers
and all.
everything else that doesn't need covered. The walls, the water bottle,
He didn't
the
even
water
try
counter.
anything this time. It's like, eh.
Yeah,
door
at least
in the
he's in the
morning.
box, which he goes outside all the time.
He doesn't need to. So we just let that stand like that.
No.
Yeah.
So which one of these do you think makes the most sense for poor Dr. Hawtrey? Depression, or anxiety disorder, or addiction?
Anxiety disorder.
Or addiction. Because you are on a lot
I'm
of
already-
painkillers right now.
I'm already on a risk addiction with Ambien.
There you go. Add an addiction to Ambien.
Painkillers?
No, that's a sleep drug.
These powerful sedatives. You're having to take more and more powerful stuff to get yourself.
No, I think it's just
Ambien.
And in fact, like gradually you realize that the sedatives, the sleep drugs aren't really doing anything for you, but you're still getting them, or it's even worse.
Great, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
How many motivations did you have written down on the front?
2. I have sleep disorder, which I always have to roll sanity to sleep. Seek scientific understanding of sleep.
You have to roll sanity
Okay.
to see.
So write your addiction on there underneath sleep disorder.
I wonder how much Ambien they brought to pass with them.
I always have Ambien on me.
Yeah, but then you got...
You never know.
The next day, I think the next day they'll bring those of you who are mobile out for the grand tour. So you'll kind of drive along with probably with Captain Stein too, and a couple of other guards. They have these big big trucks and a huge supply of gasoline, finite nevertheless, but pretty huge that they have stored away that they're using very sparingly. But they're using that to use the trucks to get from site to site, and so they bring you in them to get a look around at the facilities.
Outside the compound?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Outside the gates, it's green. It's lush. It's very rough, kind of rocky terrain, and they have some these kind of rough roads leading from point to point, and so they drive. You follow that. They drive you out and to a couple of the different sites. And they have one site that's basically like a series of quarries where they're doing all of their excavations and mining, and then there's another compound that's being built and expanded that's not really ready for residency yet, except for the workers who are building it, but they're clearly building that up for the future to expand the compound, expand expand their living quarters and facilities away from base camp. And they have a full hydroelectric generator thing on this at this waterfall that they've built that's providing power to all their facilities. And along the way, there's once or twice you spot these are strange animals among the greenery.
2-foot insects or anything?
Yeah, there's some weird big insects. Enormous rabbit-looking things, and there's this kind of thing that looks sort of like a really big bison with strange horns, and you kind of spend the day basically going from site to site and seeing all of their work that they've been working on for all this time. And they bring you back in, and at the end of the day, and back to your little cells.
Is it day 3?
And it's day 3.
It's day 3.
You guys can roll Constitution again.
Nope.
Nope.
That's ridiculous. 3 days and nothing.
Yep.
Do you
Nothing but an Ambien addiction.
Do you recover from a broken leg in 3 days?
Yeah, broken leg, but I imagine that I would.
I have had broken toes. And they take a really long
It
damn
seems like
time.
going back through time, it's like it wouldn't have happened. Okay, so let's go to sleep, see what happens.
Okay, Sammy can roll there. Hawtrey.
Me?
You didn't have Ambien.
Well, you have it.
Yeah.
It's just not doing what it's supposed to anymore.
Oh no.
That's a D8 he rolled with that.
Yes, but it still would have been a 70-something.
Shut
Alright, I'll go to 50. Minus the sanity? No?
No.
You
This is
just
just
don't
to see if
sleep.
you get to sleep.
Oh, no, I didn't get
And
to
you don't.
sleep.
So you start.
And it's kind of tick along, and the hours kind of tick along in the sort of darkness, of the room. So you're awake when the door sort of pushes inward unexpectedly. Like, what time the nurse is coming. It's not time for a nurse to come. And a guard comes in. He's got he's in the uniform, and he has one of the submachine guns with the suppressor built into it, and he kind of comes in and looks around and sort of stares at the whole room for 60 really long seconds, and then walks over to your bed, because yours is the nearest one. Reaches into a pocket and pulls out this little thing that it looks like an iPhone. He hands it to you, and he says in this kind of weird voice, "You will need this." And then he starts undoing your unlocking and undoing your restraints. You wake up to somebody fiddling with your restraints on your bed.
Yeah.
And it's a guard who has this you can't really see very well because it's dark, but he's kind of breathing too quickly, and
Yeah.
And then finishes undoing your restraints and steps back and says, "You will come with me."
All right. Yeah. We're gonna need our friends too,
Yes,
and weapons.
will be provided to you.
All right.
He turns and walks out.
I told you so.
Okay. Are there any crutches? I mean, they wouldn't have crutches there for me or
They
anything.
have a little wheelchair.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're going.
So yeah, I'll start wheeling her.
By the time you get out there, he's nowhere to be seen. And after he comes back kind of around the corner, the guard kind of comes back around the corner and looks at you kind of scowling and says, "Too slow."
Well,
Yeah.
I'll pick up the pace. My limp ass
Anything you can
leg.
do for the leg here?
Looks down at your leg and says, "It is hurt."
Yeah.
And then he turns and walks off. So he leads you through, through a couple of these. This is probably I don't know if this is the first time the two of you have gotten a look at all this stuff. This
It is.
sort of warren of corridors and tunnels and airlocks and.
I thought we went on a
No, we did.
Or the two of them did,
The
'cause they were
ambulatory
helping.
ones.
Twice he passes other guards who sort of look at you guys askance, and your guard kind of says Dr. Tucker requires them, and the other guard sort of shrugs and
He's known to be crazy, so.
yeah, and on you go.
We call it eccentric when
I
they're
bet we
useful.
really are going to see Dr. Tucker. Dr. Tucker.
And so you wind up in a little corridor, with blocked doors on either side, and there's a guard stationed kind of in the corridor next to a couple of the locked doors. The guard looks over and looks at your escort and looks at the two of you and looks really, really freaking suspicious and says, what's going on here? Your guard says, I must take them to Dr. Tucker. And the other guard says, yeah, well, let me call that up. And he reaches up and your guard lifts up his submachine gun and fills him full of bullets.
Ooh.
Oh.
suppressed
the guy
fire
kind of-
or
Yeah,
just
it's suppressed.
Yeah, it's suppressed,
Yeah.
Still.
burst of bullets, and it just sort of stitches him up and kind of staggers back with this look of shock on his face and flops to the floor, bleeding all over the place. And even with the suppression, I mean, it kind of echoes, and you guys have been really quiet here, so it's just kind of crazy. And that's going to need violent sanity rolls for the two of you.
just since it's out of nowhere.
Yeah, you got
80, so that's a failure.
Okay, so lose a point and
18.
success.
I've seen so much
and put a
violence.
check mark.
Alright.
I have that thing that he gave me my iPhone. I've hidden it away, by the way. So
Okay. John, you hear the lock on your door kind of unexpectedly rattle, and I guess they have little codes or whatever. But anyway, you hear a beep, and the door kind of goes click and unlocks, and
I'm
see
sure you
this-
heard the suppressed.
Yeah, you probably
Thing.
heard that because it was right outside.
So yeah, I rolled
So,
out
yeah.
of bed and sort of up in the corner.
Yeah, and so you see a guy with a submachine gun sort of open your door and lean in and look at you, and he kind of stares at you for
Too long.
several seconds, and then says, "You must come with me." In this really weird kind of voice, and does the same thing with Woodhouse, and
So these guys are in the hall. These two.
yeah, they're out there. She's in a wheelchair, and he's pushing the wheelchair, and there's a guard laying
This is
there
their agent.
bleeding out on the ground.
The things, the keys.
those are
Yeah, it's time to go home. Take care of Hunt.
That would be nice.
Maybe see our families again. If it's
Okay,
not
let's
like
go.
1980 or whatever.
Okay, off we go.
Didn't you be taking the
Yeah, I'm taking his gun.
guard's equipment?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take
Is it a
his.
key card or anything, or ID?
Yeah.
Guard and
Does he have any grenades?
pistol and
Will you quit?
and like a taser
Take
and
it all.
Alright, well
Pepper
I'll take the pistol, you guys take the taser and pepper spray, and you take this.
I'll take the
Is
papers.
the submachine gun a heavy weapon? Or is it just
No.
a firearm? Firearm. Okay. What's your firearm skill?
It's 52.
What's your firearm skill?
Available.
26.
23.
So is it still true that if you have... Well, we don't have that much ammo, though. So, never mind. Yeah, I'll hold on to the submachine gun.
So, he leads you through a couple of other corridors and to the elevators. Punches a code into the elevator and puts you all in the elevator. And as he steps into the elevator, he kind of reaches up and fiddles with the camera, and to turn it off, brings you in, and then up you go. And he brings you out again, and there's another guard, like, standing right outside the elevator bank as the elevator doors open, who kind of turns and looks and... Yeah, and your guy says, I must bring them to Dr. Tucker, and the other guard says, I don't know what the hell's going on. He starts reaching up for his thing, and
Does trigger happy Charlie take him out too?
Yeah.
If he doesn't, apparently.
God damn.
Bloodthirsty.
Yeah. So your guard opens up again and just mows him down right there. And there's brains all over the place.
They seem to have a distinct lack of respect for human life.
Yeah, they do. Do we really want to go back?
Or deal with these people.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I think at this point we're in for a penny, in for a pound again.
That's true.
From seeing Vic get blown away.
Yeah, the two of you. Yeah, Woodhouse and Dressner.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
79.
Oh, shit.
Alright, lose a point and put a check on the violence. And so at the front door of the bunkhouse here, he opens it up and looks out and kind of looks around and says, and kind of says, points to the big warehouse there, and he says, "We must go to the gate quickly."
Yes.
Is Tucker here? They come and get Tucker or no?
You must go to the gate.
Okay.
All right, yeah.
Okay.
Are you coming with us?
You must go to the gate.
He like walks along with you.
Sure.
Okay, yeah.
And how much are you trying to hurry?
Really fast. I would think.
Yeah.
As fast
Hurry,
as you
hurry,
can.
hurry, because
Yeah.
I would imagine, I'm
Someone's
surprised they
gonna
aren't on
find
us.
dead
Yeah.
guards soon.
I
I'm
think
wheeling it.
I'm going to set my pace with our possessed guard.
So your guard sets off, and so John, for Dressner, make a strength roll. Manhandling this wheelchair for your friend.
Yes, 15.
And does it still have little bars jumping?
Yeah, it's still going.
And Fulquist, give me a Con times 5 roll. Because you are all shut up.
Maybe I'll finally make one. Nope.
No, not in this case.
So you're starting to lag behind pretty hard. The guard who's like leading the way, he's sort of outstripping all of you, and you're kind of going and you're keeping up all right. And, and he's sort of ahead, he kind of pauses and turns and looks up at one of the guard towers and looks over at another of the guard towers, and clearly there's something going on with the guard towers. And, is everybody still just booking it, or is everybody doing anything?
No,
Looking at-
I'm just
Okay.
in my chair trying to get to this gate.
And then there, from like that guard tower over there, there's this sort of muffled bang of a rifle shot. And then from that guard tower over there's this muffled bang of a rifle shot, like almost simultaneously. And your escort sort of turns and, continues on, and brings you to the big warehouse, and keys in a little code, and the door is open, and inside, this is actually the first time probably all three of you besides Dressner have seen this place.
Yeah.
So, but
I'll
you
just
kind of
describe it as we go. I'll just tell them what the set of this is because they don't freak out.
yeah. So it's it's this big. You see
hangar.
the big hangar-sized
I imagine
warehouse.
that you've told
with
us
the
about it
gate
already.
in the middle, in the far end of it. And as you as you go in, there are workers here. There's not a lot, because it's sort of graveyard shift, but there are some workers in there that kind of look up, and they don't look up like shocked, but they're still they're not sure. They're curious, but they don't raise they don't pitch a fit about it or anything. Right. One of them goes back and makes sure that the door closes the way it's supposed to behind, because your guard didn't stop to do that. And then one of the guys who's like a foreman sees you coming and says Tucker told me that you were going to be coming. Just he's down here. He's down here by the gate, and if you'll just follow me. And he kind of leads you down there. You see,
Tucker's the guy that led y'all on the expedition, right?
That you were dubious of.
Basically, his name is not a snake guy.
Yeah.
So he leads you down to the gate, and at the gate there's there are technicians there, and you see the gate there, and it's just sort of this empty hole with a wall on the other side of it, and Tucker is kind of standing basically off to one side, just staring into nothing. You get there, and your guard gets there, and then Tucker, just for no reasons, walks over and tells the technician to leave, and the technician kind of looks up and looks surprised and looks at the guard and starts to kind of argue the point, and but he finally gets up and takes a step back. The guard tells you, stand along the line.
Okay.
Tucker starts messing with the controls, and you can hear the electricity kind of cycle up, and the technician who was there starts looking really alarmed, and says, Tucker, what are you doing? We're not powering this thing up anymore. We're just doing maintenance on it. We can't do this. It won't even connect with the Duxbury gate anymore. And
I'm gonna step over in front of him, the technician, and say, "You should go now."
he kind of looks around in surprise. What the hell are you talking about?
I said, "You don't want to be here, believe me."
He sort of blinks and shakes his head and says, turns and leaves. And the other kind of guard with the baleful stare is sort of staring at him balefully. And, the technician books it. And you kind of hear after a few seconds, you hear him and the foreman talking, with sounding really alarmed over there, and suddenly the gate fills with mist, and the guard, kind of looks at you and says, "You must go first, and you must follow quickly."
Okay, I'm gonna go.
Okay.
I'm going.
Yeah, we can wheel her in first through the...
Yeah. Good luck.
Scream if it hurts.
I don't know why they need us to do these things. If they can possess people, why don't they just possess?
Maybe they can't exist in a person that's traveling through time.
Maybe, yeah.
Like they could possess someone to go through the gate, but then they wouldn't have control of them on the other side.
Maybe.
So when you go through Dressner, it's different for you
than
it was before. The others don't really have anything to compare it to, but there you go through, and there's this sort of, the same kind of timeless instant, a really strange feeling moment, that as you feel sort of dislocated from anything, and then there's this shuddering series of flashes and that around you that kind of illuminate you and nothing else, and it's like you're in this vast, endless, and this void. You're sort of suspended in the middle of it as the shapes of the world sort of blink in and out in flashes of light, and it feels like you're literally ripped to pieces by arcing sheets of fire. Ugh. Everybody roll sanity.
Oh, good.
Pass with a 2.
Critical.
Oh no, this is too much for me. No.
Pass.
If you succeeded, it's a point, and if you failed, it's a D4 points.
Does the critical make any difference?
It means you take the minimum possible. Just one. And as you awaken, you look around in this strange small room of what must be, an old wood panel house of some kind, and there's rewired electronics, like really old looking electronics all over the place, like crazily wired together in ways that don't make any sense, and old radios and other ancient devices.
Tesla coils.
And no Tesla coils, nothing that fancy. Sorry.
Is it just dormant sitting there?
Well, is there
there's sort of a smell of ozone, and you don't see a gate of any kind, but there's this smell, and you kind of see these sort of latent sparks kind of hitting around in the electricity in the wires. Looking around, you realize that you're each dressed differently. You're in this sort of dated clothing.
The anthropologist might know what the period is.
And each of you is a Mediterranean or Middle Eastern looking man.
That's very weird.
This is different.
Large double-breasted suits.
Am I still in my wheelchair? Do I still have my broken leg?
Nope.
No.
You're a Middle Eastern man.
Middle Eastern man with my leg.
Yeah. Roll sanity?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, fail.
Still
Fail.
hanging in there.
Damn it.
You pass.
All right,
I'm
so
totally fine with this.
it's going to be 1 if you pass it.
And if I fail, a D4?
D8.
D8.
That's pretty shocking.
Ooh.
I mean, this hits all of my worst fears right here.
How does this hit all of your worst fears?
Well, not
I
all
don't
of
fear
them.
very much.
You fear being a Middle Eastern man? I mean, you must have been really secure.
A well-dressed one.
On a sheet of paper at the base of one of the walls, there's this really expensive-looking old watch. It doesn't look old, but the design of it is very old, and it's been modified really weirdly. Instead of a standard watch face, it ticks. It looks like it'll tick from 1 to 281.
Weird.
has only a single hand, and as you're watching, it doesn't seem to be moving, but really, really slowly.
It's a watch looking thing?
Mm-hmm. It's a watch.
All right.
And on the wall, written in charcoal, is 281H 7M 22S Kill Hunt.
281, 22, and 7? No, 7 and 22.
281H 7M 22S.
281
I'm gonna take
hours,
out
7
the-
minutes, 22 seconds. Kill hunt. Okay, so we need to take that watch, because that's when we're going to kill
yeah.
hunt.
And I'm going to
When
take
it's-
out the iPhone thing and see if is there anything on it?
No, you don't have an iPhone thing.
I don't.
We don't have our guns or anything. I mean, yeah, we're not in our own bodies anymore.
Alright, great.
We're Mediterranean robots from the past. I'm going to check my pockets. Do I have, like, any form of ID or anything on me?
I'm checking my pockets for something else.
What the? I've always wanted one of these.
This is new.
Yeah.
11 days and 11.7 days.
Yeah, that's okay.
Roll a d4.
Okay.
It's 1, 2, 3, 4.
1.
Okay, so Dressner,
Yes.
that is your real name.
Yes. I don't know at this point.
We're not sure.
In your one of your pockets has nearly $1,500 in antique $20 bills.
What's the date on them?
American?
Series 1929.
Are they American dollars?
Yeah. But they're old stock 20s. They're big.
Yeah, they're kind of weird
They're
looking.
weird looking.
And that's where we're going to leave it.